everybody, it's Kelly here with Eat Plants with, it's Kelly here with Eat Plants with Kelly. Happy Saturday, everybody. I am making a late lunch, early dinner, whatever you want to call it. It's almost, I think, it's 3:05 here in Tennessee. So I just thought I would bring you guys along and show you my thought process and what I'm doing for this late lunch, early dinner. So first of all, I took my lovely Instant Pot and I made some red potatoes in them. They're still hot. So what I did with that is just wash them off, put maybe a cup of water in the bottom or so, and then put them in the Instant Pot and set them, cooked it for like 18 minutes. And then release the pressure. It did sit there for a little bit, naturally releasing just because I forgot about them, but I did release the pressure so that they wouldn't continue to cook. So then I just took the potato out and took a knife and cut them up into wedges and put them on my air frying tray. And then what I did is kind of smashed the lighting's horrible, but I just kind of smashed the center of the potato so that it would make air pockets so that when I put it in the air fryer, it's going to get nice and crispy. So I'm going to go pop these in the air fryer behind me and get them started. I have a Ninja Foodie air fryer that I actually love because you can flip it up and push it out of the way and when you're done with it. So it's really easy. You're going to turn it on. Set the temperature. I always do everything at 400 degrees just because that's what I like to do. Even in the oven I do that. I'm going to go for about 17 minutes and it's going to preheat and set everything up there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my eye on. I also cook at high there. I have a nice stainless steel pan. I've had this since I graduated college. It was my gift to myself. Rachel Ray. I like it stainless steel. Nothing sticks to it really. So I'm gonna have this pan here, and what I'm gonna do in the pan is I am going to take a pack of Baby Bella mushrooms, and this is just an 8-ounce pack from the store. And these are the ones that are already sliced. You can get the whole ones and cut them up yourself, whatever you want to do, because I'm gonna cut these anyways. So I like to have smaller pieces, especially if I'm going to make these mushroom burgers. This is the recipe that I posted, I think it was last week sometime, and it turned out really well, so I'm going to make them again because I have been wanting them. So that's what we're doing today, is making that recipe. I may make a few changes and just kind of throw in my own spices today, just however I'm feeling. I like that you can change things up like that and make different flavors. So you can make these as small or as big as you want. The diced mushrooms, I kind of like to make them kind of small, just because that makes things easier. And I haven't tried to make these without cooking the ingredients first, but I'm assuming that you could do that. It may just take longer in the oven, but I want to get these done as quickly as I can, so I pre-cook the ingredients. So I'm just going to dump these into my pan. Put that down so you can see what I'm doing here. And then if I see some that are kind of still big, I'll just kind of get them and go ahead and cut them a little bit more. And then also today, a different ingredient that I'm going to add is a little bit of chopped kale, just because I want some green in these mushroom burgers. So that looks pretty good here. Doesn't have to be perfect, just however you want to get them cooked up. And then the next thing I'm going to add to the pan, as you see, I did not put any oil in here. You didn't see me adding any oil to the pan, so there's nothing in here. So we're just going to dry saute these. The next ingredient I'm going to add diced peppers and onions, and this is just a bag that I found at the grocery store. They're already diced up, so I'm just going to pour those in. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the eye so that, and you know, I don't measure anything. So that's what it looks like so far. So I'm going to put this on the eye and get it cooking. And I do have it turned up on high, so it'll cook rather quickly. The next ingredient that I'm going to add to it, just after a little bit, I'm not going to add it quite yet, is some shredded carrots. And then I am going to add in some kale as well. So let me get a bowl down here. Gonna need a bowl. So I just have a nice big bowl. Into the bowl, I'm gonna go ahead and put the kale in. Oh, I could chop it. I mean, I could cook it, which I might. I don't know. And then I am going to get some scissors. These are actually herb cutting scissors that I got from Pampered Chef, but they work for this as well. So I'm just going to kind of chop these up a little bit, just so the pieces of kale are not as big in the burgers as they could be. You can also do this in your salad chopping bowl if you wanted to. This is easier since I don't need a whole lot. So, on that recipe that I posted last week, I did not put any kale in it, but today I thought I would add some kale and make it more fun. And then I probably won't cook this because what's going to happen is when I get the onions and the mushrooms and the peppers off of the eye, they're going to still be hot. And so when I put it in here, it's going to kind of wilt the kale a little bit, which will help to cook it. But I am going to put the carrots into the saute pan. I'm just going to add a couple handfuls. You can add however much you want. It's the beauty of this recipe. Just add, you know, whatever you would like. And I'm going to need a binder for the burgers to stick together. So that's what we're going to make next while the peppers and onions are cooking. So give me 1 second here. I am going to use my Magic Bullet blender to make a binder. You can absolutely use just any store-bought flour that you would like to use. So if you want to buy oat flour already made, that's perfectly fine. If you want to get wheat flour, whole wheat flour, that's fine. I used that last time, and that's actually what I posted in the recipe, was the whole wheat flour. But today I'm just going to make my own with some gluten-free rolled oats. I'm going to make my own oat flour. It's cheaper to make your own than it is to buy it already ground up in the store. So all I'm going to do is take my little Magic Bullet blender container and just pour in some oats. These are the whole grain quick cooking rolled oats. You can use the other ones. You just don't want to use like steel cut or anything that's kind of hard. And then I don't know, I probably have, that's probably a cup or so in here. Again, I don't measure anything, I just go by looks and feel. So if I don't use all of this, I will just store it in my storage container in the pantry. But I'm just going to go over here and blitz it on the blender to make our own oats flour. There you have it. It is nice and ground up. It is nice oat flour. So we have that made. And then we want to talk about spices. So whatever spice you want to put into these burgers is completely fine. I'm going to go over to the pantry right quick and get some nutritional yeast because I forgot to get it out. So I will be right back. So this brand of nutritional yeast is the best that I have found. It is Sari, S-A-R-I. It's the best one that I found. I just get it on Amazon. It actually comes, I get the big huge bag. So what I did is just pour it out into a container that I can easily cook with and stuff. So I think I'm going to put some nutritional yeast in it today. And then let's go over to the spice cabinet and see what I want to put in there. I think I'm going to do some Mrs. Dash, and I'm going to do some Cajun seasoning that I have, and then probably some chili powder, and maybe some of this jalapeno chili powder as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get those out in the pantry. And I am going to check on my onions back here and my mushrooms and see how they look. I do have the oven preheated at 400 degrees. You can cook these if you want them to cook faster, you can cook them at 425. If you want to cook them in your air fryer, you can do that. Last time I set my oven on the convection setting and cooked them that way. You can do that as well. Also, what I'm going to put in these today is some ketchup. So this is the True Made Veggie ketchup. I have found that some Krokers are starting to carry this, but you can definitely find it at Sprouts. I know you can get it on Amazon as well, but it's kind of expensive just because it's a big bottle of liquid that they ship to you. And then I'm going to put a little bit of this classic barbecue sauce. I showed this the other day in one of the videos I made, but it's by Primal Kitchen, and I found this at Target. And then I'm going to put a little bit of hot sauce because you guys know I like hot sauce and everything. This is just some hot sauce, Chipotle hot sauce that I found at Kroger. So I'm going to put that in there. So I like these burgers because you can make them taste like anything that you want them to taste like. And so while we're waiting on the onions to cook, I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of this bag back in the freezer, and I'm going to put my kale back in the refrigerator as well. Pretty sure last time I just kind of threw in also some maple syrup. I'm not going to do that this time just because I didn't want to, but you can totally do that if you would like as well. And again, like I said, you can put any kind of spice in it to change up the flavor. This is Mrs. Dash Fiesta Lime. If you haven't had that or haven't tried that, I would definitely recommend trying it. I got this when I was in Texas. Found it in the store. I have seen it at Walmart before. You can also definitely get it on Amazon, which is where I used to get it from. But this one I picked up in Texas. And then I'm going to put some Cajun seasoning, and then some jalapeno chili powder, and then just some regular chili powder. So let's go take a look at these onions and peppers and see how they are doing. And because these were frozen, they are releasing a ton of water. So that's what I'm trying to get to cook down, is get all the water to cook out of it so that my burgers are not as wet, and I don't require as much flour to keep them together. So the flour is going to be the oat flour that we made just a little bit ago, and I'm trying not to use as much of this as I might need to. So I'd love to know what you all are cooking today, or if you are just grabbing something really quick, or if you maybe batch prep and you're going to have some of that. A lot of people batch prep on the weekends. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. I haven't actually batch prepped in a long time unless I'm making a lot of potatoes, which potato update, if you guys have been following for the last few days, I did post that 18 pounds of potatoes that I bought on Wednesday. So today at 5:30, it's day 4. So after I eat these, it looks like I'm going to have about 2 or 3 pounds left of these potatoes that I cooked today. So it's probably going to be about 4.5 days or so for me to eat those 18 pounds of potatoes. Typically, I would have thought that it would have taken me about 3 days or so, but I haven't been eating as many potatoes as I thought I was going to eat, so it's taking a little bit longer. So some of you got right on the dot with around 4 to 5 days, so good job on guessing that. But I'll keep you updated and see how long it takes me to actually finish those out. So what I'm going to do actually with these potatoes while we're still waiting on our mushrooms to cook is take them out and I'm going to go ahead and put them in the refrigerator for later. These will make really good potato wedges. You could also do like some twice baked potato type things with these. You could take the middle out and put you some seasoning and some spices in it, and then, you know, put the stuffing back in. But I'm not going to do that. I'll probably just use these in the air fryer. So yeah, so let's take a look at our mushrooms. I'm going to pop these in the refrigerator right quick. Okay, y'all. I'll let these stick. That's okay. So what I could do to get these to not stick is put some water in it, but I'm actually done cooking them. So we're just going to take them out of the pan now and add them to my bowl of kale. You can see all that steam coming up. So I'll probably have to post a picture of this later, but I'll show you what the pan looks like now. So you can see that it actually got stuck on there. But this pan cleans up really well, so all I'm going to do is throw it in my sink, run some water in it, and put some dish soap in there, and let it sit for a minute, and it should be totally fine. I'll actually go ahead and do this for you. To show you that it cleans right up. So I don't even know if you can still get these stainless steel from Rachel Ray or not. I haven't seen them in the store. The last ones I saw in the store from her were like the, it's like a Teflon type. There's some different colors. But I love her stainless steel ones. I graduated college in 2009. So these are like 12 years old and they still look completely fine. I use them on a daily basis, multiple times a day. So these Rachel Ray pans work lovely. And they will clean right up for you if you do need anything stuck on them. So, let's take this out here and I will show you how that cleans up really good. So you still don't have to use any oil. Yes, it did stick because I wasn't watching it and paying attention. But it came nice and clean. So that's why I love these pans. Let me get this out of the way. Okay, so back to the mushroom burgers. So now I have my onions and peppers and the diced mushroom in here with the kale. And we're just gonna mix it around a little bit. So these are going to steam for a minute, but once you start adding things to it, it will pull off. These are going to be great with the kale in it. Alright, so let's start adding our spices and all of that. So you know I don't measure, sorry about that, but I just pour in what looks good and what feels right and how it looks. So I'm going to take the nutritional yeast and just sprinkle some in. I don't know, probably a tablespoon or two. You put however much in there you want. Then I'm going to take the Mrs. Dash Fiesta Lime seasoning and put some of that in there. A lot of it actually. And then I'm going to take some Cajun seasoning and stick some of that in there. And then the jalapeno chili powder. I'm going to stick some of that in there. I like things hot if you can't tell. Obviously use your own spices. You don't have to use the ones I'm using. Here's some chili powder going in. And then I am going to take some of the ketchup and just kind of squeeze that in. There's our potatoes. Let's see, they may need to go in a little bit longer. So let me check those and see what they're looking like. They are nice and crispy and brown and, ouch, that is hot. Nice and crispy and brown, and you're starting to see the nice crispiness on the ends. I'm gonna actually turn it around and put it in there a little bit longer, just because I want them to be more crispy. They're absolutely fine what they are. So I'm gonna turn it back on, and we're gonna decrease the time probably to about, let's do 7 minutes or so. Alright, so I've got my ketchup in the bowl. I'm gonna take some of the barbecue sauce. These are also great to dip it in as well. And we are going to add some of that to the ingredients. And then, let's see here. I made a mess with that stuff. That's okay. That's what cooking in the kitchen is for, is to make a mess. If you're the one cleaning it up, it is fine to make a mess. Alright, let me get this all mixed. Okay. So, let's go ahead and put in our hot sauce. Again, if you don't want it to be hot, you don't have to put the hot sauce in there. And so, if you have ever made like a meatloaf or any of that, you know, you probably put an egg in there to kind of help it with binding. Obviously, we don't eat eggs on a whole food plant-based diet, so we don't, actually, in this burger, we are not going to need any eggs. So I'm just kind of mixing all of the spices around and everything. And then you kind of see what it looks like here. And then now I am going to put in my oats. So what we're looking for here is to get it into a consistency that we can form into a burger. So I'm just going to start adding. If we add too much, we can add some liquid. If we don't add enough, obviously we can add more. So I just kind of do everything on like a feel and how it looks and all of that. I don't really measure. Let me point this down so you can kind of see here what it's looking like. Just kind of mix it in. So see, I'm still too wet. I can't form anything with this. See how wet that is? So I'm going to add some more oat flour. And I'm just going to keep doing this and mixing it in until we can get some, until we can get a mixture that you can hold together to form a patty. And you'll start to be able to see that. You might hear the change as well with me kind of mixing it around as well. So I'm still a little bit wet, so I'm going to add some more oat flour in. And now we're starting to get to that consistency that we are looking for. It's almost kind of doughy, kind of like you're making like a bread, kind of, but not really. I'm going to go ahead and just add the rest of this in there. So that was probably about a cup or so of the, maybe a little over a cup of the oat milk, or the oat flour that I use, not oat milk. Don't use oat milk because you will be needing a lot of oat flour if you put oat milk in there. But again, like I said, you can use any flour, chickpea flour, you could use whole wheat flour, quinoa flour. Let's see. So there we go. It's looking better. So now, you can see that kind of sticks. So I'm able to make a patty out of this, and this isn't going to make as many as it made last time, I don't think. I'm just going to get this off of here, and we are going to bring over my pan and start making the patties. And so this is kind of still warm, so it's going to stick to my fingers, but what I'm going to do is show you a secret to get it to not. Alright, so we don't use oil like I was saying earlier. So what do we use to make it not stick to the pan? And I'll move my camera up again here in just a minute. But I have just a silicone baking sheet on a pan here that I'm going to put in my oven. You can tell this one has been well used. This is not dirty. It is just turned from being used. So got just a silicone baking mat just lined on the pan. And so what I'm going to do to get this mixture to not stick to my fingers while I am making the burger patties is I'm just going to get my fingers a little bit wet with warm water. And if it starts to stick to my fingers, which it could a little bit, then I just get some more water on my fingers. I'm going to keep it running. So you can make these patties as big or as little as you want. So I'm just taking some of it, and you see that it's not sticking on my hands because my hands are wet with warm water. So then I'm just going to patty it out like I would a burger and just stick it on the mat. And so I feel my hands are getting dry a little bit, so I'm going to get some more water on this and just pick up some more. And here we have a second patty. This is probably going to make, I don't know, maybe 4, maybe 5. We might be able to get 5 out of it. Last time I think I made 8, probably because I used more onions and more carrots. I did use the same size of mushrooms, so it probably has to do with the amount of onions and peppers I use. So you can see this is starting to stick to my hands a little bit. So the last patty, I'm going to get some more water for my hands, and we are going to make our last patty here. So if you can't have beans, a lot of people can't eat beans because of gastric issues. This is a great alternative to making bean burgers. So this would be a no bean burger or a mushroom, I'll just call it a mushroom veggie burger. But I know a lot of people can't have the beans, so this is a great alternative to it. So there's my last patty. And I'm just going to get this off of my hands. So I have my potato wedges ready to go. I love how the Ninja Foodie tells you that it's hot. It does that because from where you can lift it up out of the way, it will tell you when it's ready to lift up. It'll say flip, but it won't let you do that until, or it won't tell you to flip it up until it has cooled off completely. So here are my potato wedges. They are nice and crispy, and they've got some brown on them, and these are going to be very yummy. So don't leave your potatoes in the air fryer when they're done, because if you do that, the condensation is just going to come down, and it's going to take your crispiness away. It's going to make them liquidy again, and we don't want that. So I have my 5 mushroom burger patties on my silicone baking mat. Just going to pop these in the oven at 400 degrees. Like I said, last time I cooked them at 425, a little bit shorter amount of time. But this time I'm not really in a hurry, so I'm just going to stick those in the oven at 400 degrees. And that is all. So I'm not going to keep you on here to get those done, but it should probably take about 20 to 25 minutes or so just for them to get kind of crispy and get a coating or a texture on the outside so that you can pick them up and eat them like a burger. So I I hope that you enjoyed today's cooking show, and I hope you're having a great weekend. And guess what? I hope you guys are eating plants with me, Kelly. Have a good weekend, everybody. See you later.